down to get into real estate? What year was that?
That would have been 2015. So I think I
Okay.
met with her like around July, and then I was able to finally start my classes in November.
Okay. And how did you get into the real estate investing side? Like, what was there like someone within the family that was like doing it, or how did you find that passion, I guess, to really want to dive into to the real estate investing side?
I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure where it all started. I've always wanted to retire early and have passive income so I can travel and do whatever passion project I have. I don't want to spend my whole life having to work to just make
Yeah.
ends meet. I wanted to create something bigger than that. And so I guess in doing research, probably, started hearing more and more about real estate investing. I do remember one of the first things when I did start my research. I'd stumbled across an article by, I think it was the founder of Bigger Pockets. And he was talking about buying mobile homes and mobile home parks and flipping those and getting started. And I'm like, wow, that could be done really cheap. Like, I can do that. So, and then I started just getting deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole and learning more and more. So, but it seemed like fun for starters. It seemed like a huge need in our community. Good housing, whether it's a rental or just a single family home for maybe a first time home buyer. Even then, it just seemed like a need that we really needed met in our community. So
Yeah.
that's kind of really what got me started on that.
That's awesome. I was kind of the same way. I originally got in to learn to flip homes, but I was like, well, if I'm going to flip homes, I should learn the real estate side,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
now I just tell people the real estate side, sales side stayed, and I dabble in the investing side.
Yeah.
So you sit down with your broker
Mhm.
and get things rolling. Do you dive right into real estate full time? Are you doing it part time? Kind of talk through the first couple years, successes, struggles. What was that like?
So getting started, I was more or less a part-time agent. I was still waitressing at the time. Again, bills to pay. It takes a while before we get our first sale going.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to where at my real estate job, I worked from like 5:45 in the morning until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that left my evenings, afternoons, and open to be able to show houses, which is primarily when everybody else is free too. So I was very lucky being able to coordinate both of those schedules to make it work pretty well. So,
Yeah.
so 2016, I finally took the leap in July of 2017. So about a year and a half after getting licensed to finally go full time. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, what was that first year and a half like? What did you just focus on your sphere of influence? Did you just take off, and run with real estate as far as like success goes, or was there some struggles there?
Honestly, I was very lucky. So I get licensed and I do my first post on Facebook. Hey, everybody, I'm now a licensed realtor. And I immediately had somebody that used to be a customer of mine at the retail job I had worked at reach out. She's like, I'm looking for my first house. Will you be my realtor? And I'm like, yes, I've got my first client. So I got really lucky. We were able to get her in contract pretty quickly. It was an FHA loan, so my whole process was learning how to do FHA right off the bat. And I'm trying to think, we got her closed, I think in April. So about 3 months in, I had my first closing. And then after that, I did pretty well. I want to say I had 10 transactions in my first year, which is
Awesome.
great for a new agent. But yeah, I'm terrible about cold leads. Door knocking, cold calls, buying leads. It makes my skin crawl.
It's not your personality.
I'm not. I am all about relationships and relationship building. So
Yeah.
I focused on that. The people I knew from previous jobs, family, friends, acquaintances. And that is where 99% of my businesses come from. And that's never changed.
No, I talk to agents about it all the time. Whether it's my team or just other people getting to the business, my passion is helping real estate agents find success.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This business has been great to me. I've been blessed, with just my life because of real estate. And I talk to agents about their personality and just being true to who they are. And, like putting you behind a computer with a phone and calling leads every day would not work. Right. So, find the things that you enjoy doing. And then, how can we take that and put it into a real estate, type of setting.
Yes, exactly.
Um, so the first year and a half, you're kind of going back and forth, doing the waitressing and real estate,
Yes.
really take that leap of faith in 2017.
Mhm.
Um, what did that look like, over the next 3, 4, 5 years moving up to current day? How's business been?
It's been great. So when I decided to go full time, I think I had 2 grand in the bank account. I did not have the 6 months of savings, nothing like that. I had a couple of deals in progress, but never to count your commission check until it's in the hands for play. But it was just, I'm a big person in believing in gut feelings, and my gut was telling me, now's the time. Let's do this.
Yeah.
It's sink or swim. You can always go back to waitressing if this doesn't work. So I did. I jumped in, and it's funny because the weekend that I think my last day at work was like on a Friday, and a group of girls that I had become really good friends with in my brokerage, we all had a weekend up in Put-in-Bay. And I actually ended up putting in my biggest deal at the time into contract that weekend while I'm up in Put-in-Bay, like, trying to write up the offer and everything. So we get that done, and that was like a great start. And from there, it grew. I, was doing a lot of networking, a lot of classes, and again, just that relationship building, just trying to get to know more and more people. And so then fast forward to about 2018, I had been feeling very restless around here, and I'd always, ever since I was 12, I wanted to move out of Ohio. Just got to get out of Ohio. And I have a tendency to be a very spontaneous person. I'm like, I get an idea in my head. I'm like, all right, let's make this happen. So May of 2018, I went with a friend for a weekend down to Clearwater, Florida, and just fell in love with the place. Fell in love with it. And I came back and I'm like, this is it. I'm moving to Florida. So I did. That was in May, and I moved down there by July 8th.
Wow.
It took a total of 6 weeks just to get everything packed up, done, ready to go. So I moved down there and got a job working it was a title company, but it's like one of those companies that, the big title agencies and the insurers send their orders to, and then we would send them out to abstractors in the state.
Yeah.
So I got a job there, and I started studying for my license. And there's some more details about that whole thing that I won't get into, but it didn't last. About 6 months, I decided to pack it up and come back home. Things had just not gone anything like what I had planned or thought they would. And I really didn't realize until I left how valuable my community was here. Here in Lancaster, like, again, it's a small town. I can pretty much walk into any grocery store, any restaurant. I'll run into somebody I know one way or the other. There, it was so odd knowing that it didn't matter where I went. Nobody knew who I was, and I didn't know anybody else. And that was a very strange feeling. So I really started to miss my friends, my community, my brokerage here, all my family's here.
Yeah.
So I moved back in the end of November of 2018, went back to waitressing again, because, again, I basically came back with no money. So I had to get everything started again. And luckily, I only had to do that for about 6 months. All of my old clients came back. I had some investors that I had worked with that, came right back to me and everything. So it took about 6 months just to get a few more sales going. And then since then, my business has just completely taken off, because that has been my sole focus.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Just building your business through your sphere of influence. What were some of the things that you were, focusing on? I know you mentioned networking, but was it just networking with just, random people that you kind of knew, connections, friends of friends, or was there any sort of strategic intentions with, like, for example, someone like yourself, right? If I'm talking to an agent and I know that they have that outgoing personality that would thrive into an area where they need to be face to face with people, it's like focus on events or things where people are attending it. Real estate's top of mind, right? Investor networking, small business networking, open houses, right? Buyer seller seminars, all of those things. Did you have a strategy behind it? Did you put your marketing to place? Or
No, there was no strategy. There's no strategy whatsoever. Honestly, if there was an opportunity to go hang out with people, I took it. So some of that was more where real estate was top of mind. We've got a local investment group down here, Profit with Real Estate. I started, they got a monthly meetup, so I started going to that, getting to know a lot more of the investors that are local down here. Volunteer opportunities, community events. I try to get involved in those as much as possible. The local restaurants, I try to frequent those as much as possible, get to know the staff there, the owners, all of that, develop relationships with them. We have a local bar down here that's kind of that's my place.
Heck yeah.
So just go there to get to know, there's a great group of locals that hang out there. And so I've just gotten to know them and sit and have conversations, and real estate just eventually comes up when they're like, oh, what do you do? And so it kind of just naturally leads to that conversation.
You may have heard me say this before, but Ryan and I, my team leader and I, we joke all the time. It's like, as an agent, you could go to dinner or a bar every single day and get clients. There's no way you can't if you're, engaging and having the right conversations. And, I work with Seth Sias, and part of helping him get into the business and build it. He's like you. He thrives with face-to-face people, right? If there's people around, his energy levels up here, it's just where he wants to be. Same thing. Like, dude, go to your bar. You don't gotta get sloshed every single time, right?
No,
but go to the local bar that you want to establish your business in that town or whatever, and just start there.
Yeah.
And he does actually events there.
Yeah.
He does investor seminars.
Yep. I've started doing the same thing. Last year, so my brokerage, we actually have a nonprofit as well called The Key to Giving. So if an agent wants to start a passion project, it helps support them with that.
Oh, nice.
So it's really great. But actually, one of our brokers had liver cancer, and he needed a transplant and was getting very close to the point of surgery. So we ended up, myself and another agent here, Jen Goring, we teamed up and we did an event there at my local bar called Coyote Ugly. Okay, so think Coyote Ugly, but with men instead. But we had auction items. We had shot girls going around with shots. We did, we had the guys get up and dance on the bar because they have an old fire in the middle of the bar, and it was an absolute blast. We had a massive turnout, raised so much money. It was unbelievable. We could not believe the turnout we had and just the support of the community and everything. So, so they've allowed us to do that there. And then I actually just started a local realtor meetup group once a week to just come hang out, like a happy hour, just to get, because we don't really, up in Columbus, you guys have all of these networking events. We've got nothing down here. Like, especially since COVID hit, even, the board events, there's not very many of those very often. So I wanted to have a chance for us to get together, to collaborate, to build those relationships again, because I like to know who I'm working with on the other side of the deal. It makes it so much smoother.
100%, and I grew up in a small town, and sometimes it's small town mindset, right?
Yeah.
Scarcity, mindset versus abundance. And, but you're right, there's enough business to go around, even down in Lancaster, for everyone. And, one of the things I've learned over the last 4 or 5 years, really, because I used to be that way. Like, I'm only focusing on John. I'm only focusing on our team, and that's what it is. And over the past 5 years or so, as I've gotten older and wiser, I say, knowing the agent on the other side, right? Whether you're representing a seller or you're representing a buyer, does have an impact on your offer status.
Absolutely.
Is this someone that I know that, we have a great relationship, that, I know when times get tough within a transaction, we're going to work it out and figure out the best way possible.
Exactly. Yeah. Are they going to be able to communicate in a timely manner? Are they going to be able to handle their clients to make sure? Yeah. It makes a big difference. It really does.
Yeah. No, I love that. Coyote. What was it?
Coyote Ugly.
Coyote Ugly. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a lot of
fun. Now, next step for you, if you go to that bar, get bar glasses, if they allow you, with your logos and stuff on it.
You know what? That's brilliant. And I don't know why I've never thought of that.
So it's something that Seth is doing.
Yeah.
And I'm all for helping people, right? Like, if it works here, it works there. Yeah. But what he found out when he was talking to the bar owner about, hey, I want to do these investor events here, and I really want to use your location as kind of like that focal point to bring people in. He does them on a Tuesday, I think, so
Okay.
typically they're slower day.
Yeah.
But what he found is a lot of, the most expensive thing typically in the bar is the glassware.
Mhm.
They drop it, break it, whatever. So I think he went to two different bars, one in Grove City, one in Circleville,
Mhm.
and I think he ended up buying like 20 or 30, 20-ounce glasses
Mhm.
with his logos on them. And now people tag him in, they take a photo of it and tag him like his friends, that see him there. So
I love that. That's brilliant. All
yeah.
right. Now, I'm there tomorrow for our meetup, so that'll definitely be a discussion I'll be having with the owners.
Yeah, just ask, hey, would you be open to this?
Yep.
So
Yep.
um and marketing, right? Free
Yes,
marketing for you.
exactly. Brand awareness, all of it.
Yeah.